Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC as we're getting ready to go into I can't believe it, our second game of the day. Little off schedule after a very lengthy game to start us off, but we are looking at Bulldog versus Nvision. I've been pronouncing it wrong, by the way. It is Moller, not Mola. So I apologize. Moller did get in touch with me last night and say, hey, mate, you're an idiot. And I apologize. Honestly, Bulldog have it's so impressive. I mean, Nvision are an incredibly good team as well, but I'm excited for Bulldog coming into this game. They haven't got a coach. This is all drafting by Shiklin in the mid, and he is smurfing it while also playing mid.
Yeah, I have really got to give some props here to Shiklin. Coaches are very important. They really help structure teams, and the fact that Bulldog are performing so well without, that sort of figurehead present is genuinely impressive. So, Shiklin doing a really good job of sort of filling that role whilst also being a player at the moment. Hopefully, they can also, pick up a coach so that they can focus more on themselves and have the coach build up the structure around them. But yeah, like you say, very impressive. And Nvision, they did drop their first game, but we'll have to see how they play here into Bulldog. I still have some of my early concerns for Nvision, though Spark has still, he's been Spark, right? Nvision want to put resources into Spark, and that's currently how they seem to want to play. We are into picks and bans, though.
We are seeing a lot of blue side target bans here. Yuna's played a lot of the Lilia. Hachi is going to have the Aatrox removed from him. Seraphine ban as well. Talia coming in. It's just jungle. I mean, Yuna is a Kindred player as well, so just heavily targeting that jungle. I see a lot of teams prioritize the Graves as a first pick on blue side. So with the Olaf removed, I feel like the Graves is the pickup.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Well, they want Graves. Yeah, sure. I mean, this now sets up for Yuna to just take Graves away himself. Also, Pantheon has slipped through because of the heavy jungle focus from Bulldog.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the Aatrox ban. But I want to propose a question to you, just because I feel like it will be interesting. When do you think Hachi will actually be allowed to play Aatrox again?
Probably never.
Probably never.
Probably until Gore Drinker gets sorted, and then maybe he'll pick that up. But honestly, a really strong first rotation for Nvision here as they take their Kaiser for Spark. We saw him get a pentakill on the first day of the UKLC. Yuna denying the Graves, which is kind of, I'd say, one of the best junglers left open. There is the likes of the Hecarim still available if Mola wants to take that. We did see Mola play the Nunu as well, I believe. So that is also something up and available. Same with that Pantheon. Remember, Pantheon very flexible. So we'll see what they decide to go for here. It's going to be the Ivern lock-in. Over to Bulldog. Expect to see probably maybe their AD carry. I think AD carry would be nice.
AD, I think you probably want to have to lock in your AD. Wow, Casper just wants the early Vayne lock. This time he's not going to see much of what Nvision actually have drafted. So let's see if Nvision have learned from the M&M draft from yesterday. They need some point-and-click CC to actually lock down this carry. Because
I wonder. Sorry to interrupt, but I wonder if we're just going to see BB Muffin lock in the Lulu here.
I was actually. And honestly, Lulu does work as this point-and-click CC because there is the polymorph, but we're going to see the Camille, which, again, another pick which has actually slipped through. And it can actually keep the Vayne locked down, and I do believe the ultimate will reveal her in stealth, though I'm not entirely sure on the interaction there.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
I feel like it should. I'm sure somebody in chat is like flaming me for not knowing this. But
just typing really hard right now.
But yeah, we are now going to see the Renekton removed away. I would really like to see Bulldog ban away the likes of potentially Orianna, plus the Lulu would be good, but they actually want to remove the Zoe for now, which, in all honesty, I'm not definitely against. The likes of Zoe and Graves can sort of play that pseudo Syndra and Graves cosplay, where, bubble lands, max range paddle star, Graves just presses Zaki in the direction, and whoever is unlucky enough to be on the other end of that doesn't get to play League of Legends.
Well, that's going to be the Maokai ban there, so looking to ban that away. I actually, interestingly enough, I kind of would have liked to have seen the Maokai picked up by Nvision. More kind of point-and-click CC to lock that Vayne in place.
I would also like to say the Maokai ban works really well here because Ivern's present, and we saw Gamer Legion do this in Prime League, where you put down Ivern bushes and Maokai chucks the sapling in the bushes, and they're Yeah, it's a nasty combo. I want to say they also ran it with Ashe just for the extra poke in lane. It's a very obnoxious combo, so not only has Poke actually shown a pretty high proficiency for that champion, but with Ivern being there, it doubles as a really effective ban. And speaking of point and click CC, learning from Eminem's mistakes last time in draft, albeit of course Vayne wasn't locked in until R5 yesterday, so it's a bit harsh to say learning from Eminem, but
yeah,
learning from the end result of the draft. They recognize.
I mean, that's when we get baited here, and it's mid lane Gragas and it's Hachi on the Vayne top. And they played us for fools, but I somehow doubt that. Expecting to see Shiklin's pick here. Going to be the Orianna. It does offer that shielding and obviously good team fighting with a shockwave. And now rounding out with what we expect to be the support, unless they flex that Gragas. What do you think they're going to pick up for Shiklin here? I mean, actually, that has made it through. Alistair's really nice into this because you can knock the Camille out of the Hextech Ultimatum.
Yeah.
You obviously, if you get hooked later on in the game when you've got the Unbreakable Will, you can pop that to take off some of the CC. So really liking this pick, actually. And I was about to say, in ban phase 2, Alistair's been slipping through for the last few days, and teams seem to be lowering the priority on it, considering how high prio it was in week 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it more or less... Akali is a champion as well.
A lot of champions slip through, and we forgot about them.
This is just what happens when you have so many bans that aren't always the traditional ones, right? Lilia isn't always permanently banned. Kindred is almost never banned at the moment. Aatrox is certainly never off the table as things stand, unless you're dealing with a very proficient player like we are with Hachi. So loads of the usual priority picks actually slip through, and we're going to see BB Muffin on this Akali. Definitely a different look for him in competitive, but I have definitely seen him play it a fair bit. He can definitely pop off, and in a composition like this where there's not any immediate hard CC outside of like the Alistar knockup, he can actually have a pretty fun time here. There's not a lot of point and click is sort of the end result. So I'm a big fan of this pickup here.
Alrighty, well, Comp's locked in. Hopefully some of the spells are right there.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to go into our second game. This is a scarier game to pick that Vayne. It's a very confident pick by Casper to lock it in. But now you're looking at it, you've got the Kai'Sa, who can obviously jump on you with the rest of the team. You've got the point and click from the Nautilus. You've got an Akali who will just blow you up. And you do have the Ivern. You do have Interrupt. There's a lot to get through to actually get onto Casper on the Vayne. But obviously being relatively short range, it's not like it's impossible for Nvision to punish Casper on this Vayne. So I think Nvision have drafted himself a very good comp to deal with Casper on the Vayne. And I think this might be the first really big test we've had for Bulldog. They have been undefeated so far, and I think they've had good teams they've challenged, but Nvision have looked mighty strong. So this is a big challenge for them to round the week out. If they get a win here, I think the only team that I'm next worried about is Resolve. I think every other team just isn't a problem for Bulldog.
Yeah, I would fall in line with that opinion. I think if they are able to take down Nvision here, that the next big test really is going to be that Resolve matchup, which I want to say should either be happening next week or the week after, but I'm pretty sure my brain is telling me I looked at the schedule. It should be next week. Unsure on what day, but it's definitely in week 3. And yeah, Nvision here looking to stop Bulldog on this win streak. Who would have thought we'd be saying a sentence like that coming into spring? Bulldog on a win streak, but they've drafted themselves something that they're definitely comfortable with. Casper on a hard carry, and the rest of the team able to facilitate him, whilst on the other side there's a lot of damage, a lot of CC to lock him down. And I think much like yesterday, we saw Eminem, the fights versus Bulldog turned into will Casper die, can Casper die? And if he doesn't, you normally see positive fights for Bulldog.
Well, can the doggies keep it up? Will they be able to end the week 4-0? A phenomenal start for Bulldog. And definitely the toughest team they've had to play so far. Nvision chasing to catch up. Remember, Nvision are locked into 3rd at the moment. And they are trying to catch up to Resolve and Bulldog. And a win here for them puts them back in the races.
Yeah. Resolve watching this most likely want Nvision to halt Bulldog a little bit. Of course, would bring them even in the standings, leaving Resolve an opportunity to spring ahead into sole possession of 1st place later on tonight. For now, though, no early aggression. Just going to see this very standard line of scrimmage. But I am very excited, I have to say, to see BB Muffin on this Akali. We've seen him on a lot of utility picks for a pretty long time. We don't often get to see him on these mechanical champions.
Yeah.
Where he's here to skill check. And I must say, BB Muffin can skill check players, but his laning phase hasn't always traditionally been the best, so it is most likely going to be about outside of that laning phase, on the side lane in those 1v1s.
Yeah.
Where Akali can really thrive. But for now, both junglers in this game starting on the bottom side, most likely going to end up on the top side. Curious to see how the aggression is coming out from both of these teams.
Well, Poke already going pretty ham.
Yeah,
What I say
really
ham,
went.
just walking at Longstaff, checking him.
It's just level 1 Alistar things like, hey, I'm a cow, moo. I love that everyone also that plays Alistar is normally just running a cowbell skin, just for the record.
I think the only one we had was the other new one, the ice one.
Yeah. Yesterday, I think it was Regan ran the new ice skin, which also is a nice skin, but do you know what it doesn't have?
The cowbell.
Yeah. It's just a little bit inferior. As a
Bulldog, what other skins are there? Oh, there's the old Inferno one, which everyone used to run.
I mean, don't forget, Alistar, I want to say, might have been one of the original 40.
I think he is, yeah.
He's certainly very old.
You had Unchained, which used to be like a Facebook giveaway one with the Garen skin.
Oh, yeah, the Garen Facebook skin too. Yeah, there was
Alistair,
there's
Garen, and Tristana were all
that's right.
Facebook giveaway skins back in the day.
Rocket Girl Tristana, I want to say.
No, it was Riot Girl Tristana.
Riot Girl, all right.
The original Chroma.
Yeah, the original Chroma. As a Bulldog trying to line something up here, but Nvision smells something's up. I'm not sure if Muller actually knows that Ward died and saw him. You do have the debris nowadays, so you can actually tell roughly how old a Ward is. I'm sure there's like specific animations, but I don't know them. But you can tell by how faint or bright the color is.
True, yeah.
So, yeah. Alistar's got loads of skins though, going back to it. I want to say he's probably up there. He's probably up there with like Annie and champions.
I think Lux has the most.
Yeah, Lux probably has the most. Do you know who else has a lot of skins and gets them very frequently? Ari.
Yeah.
Ari gets a bunch of skins. But I
wish Ari was good. I really wish Ari was good.
Yeah, Ari's an exciting champion to watch, actually.
She just feels so awful. I was playing with Gulborg the other day, and he said, "No, I picked Ari," and he said, "Normally I dodge when I see an Ari."
I mean, it's not terrible advice.
Because I played that game and I went, "Yeah, I see why this feels awful. I do no damage."
Yeah. Turn this to the game a little bit. We did see Yuna actually get a little bit of a counter jungle on. He stole away the Grump on the top side because Muller went for a bit of an aggressive bottom gank path. Him not quite able to clean. I love the pings. I love the pings as well from the Nvision side. Like, just missing ping him. Can't clear it as Longstaff. He's thinking about it, but the minion wave dissuading that choice as Hachi got himself a reset, also going for the tier. Maybe this is just a new adaptation from Gragas players, or maybe I'm just not.
I'd love to have a chat with them about it.
Yes, so would I. I really would, That's going to be the second Gragas in a row, opting for that early reset to pick up the tier. And I mean, honestly, I don't mind it. Having all of that mana as, ooh, Spark. All right, look away, Observer fast. Observer, look away. We didn't see it. No.
Poke, I sung my praises about you a lot, but that was awful. Just awful.
Look, honestly, sometimes. Oh.
Really? You gotta do him dirty like this.
Okay, do you know what would have actually...
If you're one of our BBC viewers who maybe doesn't play that much League of Legends or watch all that much League of Legends and you haven't seen Alistair before, normally he has an ability where he jumps forward and then you use the thing where you slam, because then you jump into them and you knock them up. That's what Poke was trying to do. That was not what Poke achieved.
Yeah, that was not what Poke achieved. BB Muffin might get forced out here. Just a little bit, might not be able to pick up that cannon minion. Oh, no, he got the melee, so had to miss out on the cannon because of Mola's presence. But Yuna, on the opposite side, going to be picking up this dragon. Honestly, Yuna's been farming up a storm. He's near what you could call perfect jungle CS. Maybe just the two topside camps is what's stopping him from having that level of farm, but certainly having a very nice and relaxed early game. But yeah, what would have been big brain from Poke there is if he flashed into that final bush and then used Headbutt Pulverize. But I feel like he just had enough range. That's how this matchup goes.
Do you have your abilities on cooldown? Then you lose the trade. Kind of goes both ways, that to be honest. Interestingly enough, Poke actually not running the Hex Flash in this lane. You do often see Alistairs run that so they can sit in a bush and just Hex Flash out, but opting away from that.
I would love to know what his secondary tree choice is then, because it's very uncommon. I have to pause though, because now...
Spark doesn't have the flash this time. They do get the hook off as Mola comes in, flashes forward, puts down the bushes, puts down the root. Great condemn by Casper onto Spark. One more auto attack as he is able to heal up. Poke takes a lot of poke in return, and he is chunked out heavily.
Yeah, I've got to criticize Bulldog there a little bit. They had to just pick a target and murder them. They had enough CC to do it. Spark didn't have flash before that. And all of the members of the Bulldog team there kind of just throwing their CC onto different members. You can see the Headbutt Pulverize lands onto Longstaff at first. Looks like Mola wants to actually play onto Spark, but there's just not enough CC layered properly. Too much split focus.
Yeah.
And the result is no one actually dies to that gank. Should have honestly just been first blood right there.
Ultimately, though, all of the summoner spells bot lane have now been burnt on Nvision, so there is still a gain, even though they don't find the kill. They do still come away with something there. Dragon has been secured by Nvision, though, so it's not like they're going to be able to turn that into an objective. It just has to be a matter of, can they find this repeat gank, and can they get the kill this time? Hopefully, finding a double onto Casper should be enough to kind of blow the Vayne into, you know, control of the lane. Looks like the reset has come forward for Poke, though. Just finishing up the Kindle Gem for a bit of CDR. Casper finishing up the tier 2 boots, wants that attack speed and movement speed as quick as possible. Top lane fairly neutral, to be honest. This is what Gragas does, is doesn't really lose lane. He can win lane hard, but in harder matchups like this, he just chills.
Yeah, he's not really under much threat, like, ever in this matchup. This is kind of how it goes.
Casper playing very far forward.
Yeah, Casper's...
Here's the Hex Flash.
Die, or have to use his thumbs.
Oh, he gets pulled in, goes for the condemn, and has to flash away. Spark slides in with the killer instinct, and Casper, that was so greedy. His support was roaming. He knew that he was going to be alone.
Yeah, disrespect. End of it. Oh, hello. Nah, all right, never mind.
Didn't have belly bot.
Yeah, no, I think out of mana. Didn't have enough mana, or maybe it was on cooldown. Okay.
Okay, flash for flash now.
Yeah. Very curious events up there. As Yuna all the while, by the way, was just on Rift Herald, so he's not really cared much about this. He's just going to take the reset, isn't even going to bother soaking up the wave. Which, honestly, that was a pretty big wave. I don't think it crashed properly, though, so that's probably why he didn't want to disturb the flow of the lane. Just let Akaz take as much CS as he could out of it. But for now, we are just getting a really quiet opening. Baby Muffin should stop the reset.
Oh. That was flipping close, that was.
Yeah, it was. Very, very close, but Baby Muffin, honestly, could we get a gold hover? I'm curious to see gold in the inventories at the moment. Thank you very much, Observer. So, not too many discrepancies. More or less just a few hundred gold here or there. You see pretty much the only sort of noticeable lead coming from the mid lane, but again, just coming off a reset, so it's not really going to matter too much. Baby Muffin looking towards that Rift Maker as the first item. I think it's important to talk about items on this Akali because we don't often see her even get through these days. At least here in the UKLC. I think this is definitely the first game of Akali.
This is the first UKLC Akali we've had.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. Did he even slip through in the NLC?
I believe he got a game, actually.
Yeah, I recall at least one game. But I don't think it was any more than that.
Akaz getting chunked. Actually looking for this. Does have the Lucidity boots, so
I think
CDR is also going to look to hold the wave away from Akaz and just deny him farm.
just making it a little uncomfortable for him to walk up. I mean, Akaz isn't really under much threat of like dying to a gank, but it's more about Hachi being a bit of a nuisance in terms of keeping the wave in this position. So Akaz, you can see, has to commit up. It just allows him to get free grass stacks. If he wants to ever crash the wave, trades just go like this. And it takes such a long time. Oh, okay, cast committed.
I mean, there's no abilities on Akaz other than his R there, so
that look
actually just goes for that, seeing if he can get a little something. As does look like Nvision are actually just going to group and shove out this mid wave. I was expecting to see if they were going to throw down the Rift Arrow. It looks like the play is not going to be that. Mola is just sitting bot lane.
Has he moved? Jake? He's really just Ivan cosplay. I am one with Bush, but you might finally see some action.
Oh, BB getting jumped on. They do find the hook. They throw everything into Casper.
Whoa!
Casper's going to lose his life. As BB Muffin kills him with a perfect execution. Pings back, gets stunned. Shiklin looking for that shockwave. Yuna gets himself a flash over the wall, and Mola goes down. Bulldog lose 2 bot side.
Yeah, just very nice from Nvision. They have the numbers in the immediate vicinity, and that's pretty much the difference maker in this fight. And Mola, his long-stinted effort of being one with the Bush does not yield the wanted result. See here, the ultimate comes down, Casper's knocked up, and during the duration, honestly, he just loses his life to just a bunch of AoE damage. And then Yuna finds his opposite man in Mola in the Tribush, and it's just going to turn into a second dragon here for Nvision.
Yeah.
Very comfortable position at the moment, but we saw the power of Orianna and Ivan in the previous game and its ability to stall out games. And what do you know? There's also a hyper carry and a fat man Gragas in the top lane. So what I'm getting to here is, please don't give us another 45-minute game. Anything.
I think was it 46 minutes? We need to write this stuff down.
Yeah,
we can track it. It was confirmed to be the longest game of the split so far.
Yeah, I'm sure Max or someone from production is gonna give us the number real soon, but I'm pretty sure it's about 46, 47 minutes.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about this top lane. So it is the tank Gragas. When I think of Camille, I think of side lane scaling.
Yeah.
When I think of Gragas, I think of neutralizing, and he also scales fairly well into later stages. Who gets ahead here? Like, how is this lane going to look in the next 15 minutes time?
So, I mean, typically when Camille's dealing with these kind of, big HP bar tanks, it will get to a point where she usually just can stand in front of said tank, and the tank can't really interrupt what's going on to his towers. But honestly, Gragas has enough disruption and CC in his kit to actually dissuade some of the, attempts here, as BB Muffin getting a real nice trade.
Ah, lovely. It actually goes in for the perfect execution onto Mola. Just going to use that to be able to escape.
Nice bit of style to avoid that gang.
That was very clean. Very clean.
Yeah. Very, very clean. But if Mola wasn't there, I wonder if he would have attempted to go for an all-in. I feel like the answer would have been no. I don't think he had the Shroud available to get his energy levels back up. But returning to your question, Gragas is a bit of a blip on the tank, the usual tank scaling, because he's got so much damage in himself. His bases are currently pretty jacked. They're pretty high. So I feel like this iteration of Gragas should actually be able to hold Camille, like you say, neutralizing these side lane plays. That's a double TP, by the way. That's not fun.
They're coming in. They're going to land the hook, but it's onto one. The shockwave clash, and Spark is out of there into the fight once again as Hachi catches onto him. But now they got the turnaround. Eunice joined the fight. Voicing against why BB Muffin slides in. BB Muffin! Oh no, he's down, and Casper gets the kill.
Well,
BB Muffin tried to walk down the runway, and he fell over.
Fell over? I think he got thrown over. Bulldog just decided to play pinball with the poor man. That's yeah, thank you, observers. Let's get a replay of this. So it's a nice double TP here. Deep ward placed by Bulldog, and it's a very nice killer instinct to dodge away from the shockwave. Spark got caught by that. You would probably imagine he gets CC down potentially and dies, but BB Muffin TP is relatively deep, and he takes the Shuriken back in, and I mean, condemn. It's actually a little bit unfortunate. It's a very peculiar interaction. What was going on there is Casper was going to condemn him into the wall, but Poke actually headbutted him backwards. And when the condemn landed, because of a bunch of mathematical stuff. The Condemned just pushed him further back into the tower instead of the walls. So, Baby Muffin, a little bit unfortunate.
That was a hold my beer kind of play.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, wow. Akers is doing a lot of damage. Got that Triforce, so got his Mythic finished off over Hachi. And
yeah,
wow.
Triforce in. The Q, I always forget what the Q name is for Camille, but just call it the Cho'Gath ultimate on 3-second cooldown. Yeah, it deals a lot, and especially Hachi wasn't actually able to interrupt the hook shot. So that's kind of what you need to be doing in this side lane. As the Gragas, you have to interrupt the hook shot, otherwise you are giving the Camille a lot of trading power. But Akka's gonna have a bit of free time. He might actually just take the tower, honestly. Camille, with that Triforce in pocket, should have enough time. It's gonna be most likely the second tower, yeah? As Nvision prepping for this dragon, they've got a lot of priority around. And honestly, it's pretty difficult for Bulldog to walk in. Now, Nvision don't have the best zoning tools in the world, but some of the engages that can occur can be pretty scary. And it looks like, based on where BB Muffin is, if he gets a nice flank angle, whilst Bulldog are trying to commit into the river, it would be very heavily one-sided into Nvision, especially with the gold lead at the moment.
Kraken Slayer finished off with both Spark and Casper as well, so this is very much in the sense that both of these teams want to scale. Well, both of these AD carries, it's not really scaling, sorry. Both of these AD carries want to do damage. And with the fact there's an Infernal Soul, that damage is going to spike even harder. BB Muffin very happy to see that on the Akali. Got the Riftmaker finished up, so a lot of Omnivamp to work with. And those Pen Boots as well.
Yeah, Akali, very much online at the moment. It's not quite as big a spike as the Gunblade of old. But you'll certainly see if BB Muffin is ever allowed a little bit of free time on Casper or Shiklin. The damage certainly is there.
Yeah, it really is. Got 4 minutes until the Infernal Soul comes up. And I do believe we can see the gold graph right now on your screen. So pretty heavily growing towards Nvision at the moment. They have themselves a 3,000 gold lead over Bulldog. And where that ultimately is sitting is in this top lane. I mean, not all that gold is sitting in the top lane, but you can see it reflected in the top lane. Tiamat and Trinity Force finished up for Ak as well. Actually, still sitting on the components of his mythic item. Just finished the ages there. Meanwhile, in the mid, the AD carry role, you've got the Serrated and a pickaxe on top of that Kraken Slayer. So the Collector well and truly in the making here for Spark. Once that comes in, I expect to see Nvision really want to look for the fight as Yuna maybe finds himself caught out. Just jumps onto Moller and Poke for a little bit of burst.
Yeah, just a little bit of tickle damage. As Akers has now been sent to the bottom side. Full side lane duty so far for the Nvision top laner. As also see BB Muffin swap in, of course, now on the top side of the map. And Bulldog just going to answer in turn. Send their counterparts to go and match. So just going to have a bit of a free lane situation. We'll have to see which team utilizes this mid lane priority a little better to try and sneak some vision deeper and deeper in. You can see Bulldog at the moment relatively suffocated. They do have a couple of deep walls that haven't quite been spotted out yet, as I believe Yuna stole away that chicken camp, which is very nice for him. But yeah, very slow pace of game, but honestly, after witnessing last game, this could just be in Bulldog's favor. The fact that this is going at such a slow pace. You saw once those mythics came online in the last game for the Myers, that full topside composition just became so unkillable. And we are running sort of a similar in theme setup where Nvision in this case would be London. They've got quite a lot of upfront damage. So we'll have to see whether it plays out in the same way.
And a bit like that last game.
Yeah.
We were 20 minutes in with 3 kills. It has been a much slower paced game. Week 2 has had a very different feel to it to week 1, where week 1 was very back and forth, very close and tight-knit games. This time round, more controlled, more tempered games coming in. The Collector's now finished up for Spark. I do expect to see some action break out relatively soon now that that Collector is on Spark. You can see BB Muffin building towards the Lich Bane. Got that sheen. I've seen a few different Akali builds. Some don't opt into the Lich Bane at all. Some don't go for a second, but most of the prevailing builds I've seen have been a second item Lich Bane.
Yeah, the Lich Bane now, pretty nice to have. It really does amp the it really does amp the damage of the Akali, and she is actually a pretty good Lich Bane user. It's just previously, honestly, she just preferred other items.
Yeah.
Before we had the rework, and there was that period of time in the preseason where Lich Bane's numbers were, well, they were high. They were very high.
I mean, a lot of numbers in preseason.
Yeah, a lot of numbers in this preseason were, yeah, they were crazy. Honestly, all things considered, I think this season so far is shaping up relatively tame, as we could just see an engage here. Mollard flashed the hook that definitely wasn't going to hit, but maybe a little more scared of the Camille TP behind him, as Nvision have the positional advantage as the dragon comes in closer and closer. Jake, I think Bulldog have to fight this.
I think we're in for some action. The Infernal Soul too big. Look at those flankers. They are terrifying. Spark is just playing back and letting Bulldog cut the escape off. For the moment, they are just going to look to step away and try to just get some control in the area. Obviously, with that Rift Crab already taken by Nvision, they have a little bit of vision to work with. BB Muffin looking for Casper. That is his target. Wave's going to get shoved in the bot side. So, going to be bleeding out there. Good job by Akers to be able to do that. Yeah. Drake spawning up and just clearing out some of this vision for himself, but Casper looking to jump onto him.
This is really scary for Bulldog. Look at Akers and BB Muffin. If they ever allow backline access, this fight is just so over almost from the get-go.
The bushes are timing out as well, so that kind of line of you can't see beyond here is fading away.
Yeah, Bulldog, they have to do something.
Spark will do this very quickly. Longstaff's going in. Hatchie gets the interrupt as BB Muffin pulls the ultimate. Shockwave onto 2 already, but Spark looking to tidy up. BB Muffin slides in. Spark follows him as well as Casper loses his life already, and Spark continues to fire away. Gets himself a double kill as Poke is going low. Gets the knock up as he's trying to turn a little bit more, but Spark will get himself a triple kill like it's nothing. Akers going low and Hatchie looking to try and tidy up here, but Spark making his way over. Gets the belly bob, gets the damage, gets a little bit of a turnaround as Akers pings in and knows, actually, I don't want anything to do with that, my friend.
Never mind.
Makes his way out and Nvision get Infernal Soul.
Yeah, the positioning for Bulldog here was almost never going to result in a positive fight. And I mean, honestly, Nvision, you could almost be a little bit critical here and say they were almost overcommitting into this choke, where Shicklin's just able to get a really nice shockwave. And it all starts off with this Norla Soul. When you see the shockwave here, they're chasing into the choke. A very dangerous position, realistically, for Nvision to be in, but the gold lead's still relevant enough. They're able to find their man in Casper. And one thing we didn't really notice, Spark is able to just, partake in these backline dives from BB Muffin and Akers on the Camille and Akali. He's able to find Casper on the back end of it, and we just see here Nvision, they're thinking about Hachi, but Fat Man is still too fat. He will not die.
It's funny because Longstaff goes from being frontline to backline real quick in these fights. As everyone just launches over his head onto the backline of Bulldog. Now, this tier 1 turret is still standing. Does give him a little bit to work around, but now that they got that Infernal Soul as a permanent buff, it is going to feel even harder. Casper just hasn't really been able to be impactful like he was yesterday on the Vayne. 1-2-1. Has that Phantom Dancer finished up and the Kraken Slayer, so pretty nice couple items in the inventory. Casper does need to be careful as BB Muffin landed the Shuriken flip. Not going to follow that with a cow waiting about.
Yeah. Casper going for the sort of higher DPS build, as speaking of DPS.
Yeah, this is going to get out so quick. They do see it
even
move
on
in,
Vision.
but everyone's on the opposite side of the map. There's no contest.
Yeah, I don't think they know. There was no pings. Maybe they did, I'm not sure, because there is that ward in the river bush, but I believe everybody utilized that small little gap. If you don't know about top lane Scuttle Crab, you can actually sneak in to the Baron pit by hugging the top side of the wall. So fun fact for any junglers looking to sneak away First Herald, or as you saw there, being used for the Baron. Or maybe they just walk over and just really weren't in a position to contest. I'm unsure.
I feel like they didn't want to fight that because I'm pretty sure I saw someone walk in just through the front door. So I think Bulldog saw that, nodded, and went, "Yeah, we're not even gonna bother."
Yeah, certainly wouldn't have been a positive fight. More than likely, with the gold lead.
Ultimately, it feels like we're now getting to the point where the gold lead is starting to get too big with the Infernal Soul and the Baron now. Bulldog's win condition goes from them playing things right to finding a mistake from Nvision. Can they find a pick or a mistake? Shred baby BB Muffin off from having a Baron in the side lane. As the 1-3-1 starting up, and it's just so oppressive. Shiklin trying to hold the wave, but the minions are doing so much poke damage here. And Akers, with this Trinity Force and the Hydra, going to be able to cut through this tower very, very quickly. BB Muffin with a Lich Bane as well. These turrets are liquefying right now to Nvision.
Akers can kind of just ignore Hachi because he's got enough life still in the end. And very nice utilization of Baron buff. Honestly, a lot of teams in UKLC often don't play 3 lanes when they have Baron. Only really try to keep it to 2 or when they're feeling a little bit NA, keep it to that strict ARAM. But Nvision really playing all sides well here. Bulldog really stretched.
I would like to see them crash the waves a little bit better, sinking their waves, because currently mid lane's not shoving. They've got 2 waves pushing in, and it is pulling Bulldog into 2 lanes, but not 3.
Yeah.
BB Muffin actually going to have to use the Shroud, but the Headbutt Pulve comes in from Poke. Shockwave gets dodged away, the perfect execution, and now Poke is going to take a lot of damage. Looking for a bit of a turnaround, but not able to actually find it quite yet. Big ulti comes in, and BB Muffin has to jump away to safety. The turret does go down, and Longstaff will lose his life for the team.
Look at the damage.
Towers have been taken in 2 sides, and Akers looking to take this 3rd one. The 1-3-1 still going pretty swingingly. They lost their support, but they're going to take this bot inhib, and they're going to lose top lane tower. Yuna's threatening the mid lane inhibitor. As Akers able to hook shot away to safety. The cannon minion actually doing a bit of work onto this inhib. And it looks like this is now the time to pull away and reset for the side of Nvision.
Yes.
We'll see how long until that Baron is fading off. 15 seconds left on that, and Elder Drake coming up in 1 minute 30. Just going to look to cash in on that gold. Hurricane and a BF sword and a stopwatch in Sparks inventory off the back of this. Zonya's on BB Muffin. This team are getting hard to pick.
Yeah, and the Elder is spawning in a little bit over a minute's time, and I don't know if Bulldog have it in them anymore to contest a fight at such a gold deficit with the Infernal Soul in Nvision's pocket. It just seems like a Herculean task to try and partake in. Have to see. The only way out now, I feel, is they've got to try and find a pick somewhere, but...
Oh, the flash! Oh, the hook! Oh, the snipe on the back from Spark. He's not going to find him, but BB Muffin is. Shockwave's going to land onto him. Has to stopwatch to keep himself golden. Spark is also going to have to go golden. The cast goes down. Spark flashes away, looking for the turnaround. Akers is here. Bulldog getting a lot of burst into those carries. And Nvision, maybe a little bit too antsy to go for that fight. They got supers pushing in the bot side. Spark's going to be able to heal back up with the Omnivamp, and Shiklin just going to have to catch this wave in the bot lane.
Yeah, very near game-ending pick. Casper almost dropped. Definitely within a few hundred hit points there of just dying. And if he does die, I do believe Nvision could have just rolled through the rest of that fight and ended the game right there. But speaking of ending the game, I feel like they should just be able to pick up this Elder Dragon. Relative ease.
Oh my lord.
Oh, he might care about Shiklin.
Shiklin is here as well. Akers has the ultimate, going to turn it around, looking to try and jump onto Shiklin, but actually will take him down. A little bit too over-eager there from Akers to try and find that 1v2. And Elder Dragon's been started up. There is a numbers advantage now for Bulldog, but they haven't got a numbers advantage in the area. They're going to teleport in, and this Elder is already going to be gone. They're not going to make it in time.
Yeah,
Nvision can take the fight. BB Muffin looking for the flash, looking for the engage onto Shiklin. Shiklin goes golden. They're looking to fire away. Casper gets knocked up. And that is going to be the gift of the Elder, cashing in on the first kill. Massive ultimate on the backline as Poke loses his life. A double kill for Yuna. The teleports are coming in, and this is just going to be game here. BB Muffin with that Lich Bane will cut through these towers, and Yuna is stopping Hatchie from even getting close to the base. BB Muffin has the wave, has the Elder to work with, and now he has his team as Hatchie just trying to run away, just trying to get some bit of respite from this game.
Please.
The unkillable Gragas will lose his life. The ace comes in. Yuna goes golden and 31 minutes on the clock. Bulldog are handed their first loss of the season, and Nvision are back in the game.
Yeah, Nvision back. Wouldn't have felt nice to drop to that 2-2 standing, but they hold up Bulldog. They stopped their win streak in its tracks, and now, honestly, eyes towards resolve to try and win up on their next game to solidify first place moving into week 3. But very strong game from Nvision, and honestly, I really want to commend them for this game because you don't often see 1v1 competitions come out and actually execute so well in the UKLC. It's normally just all about those team fighting compositions. But yeah, Nvision, they wrap up the game a lot better than London did last time.
Yeah, definitely a clean end for Nvision. They played towards their conditions and honestly closed it out a lot more crisp than we did in our last game. We're going to throw to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll talk a little bit more in depth with that as well as have an interview. So we'll see you for part 3 in a second.
What's that strange face staring at me in the mirror, in the mirror? What's this strange change of season coming over, coming over? It goes on and on and on, and it never seems to stop. It goes on and on and on. What do I need? What do I need? I need to make it happen. To make it happen. Oh man, it ain't that easy, easy. What do I need? I need to make it happen. To make it happen. Oh man, it ain't that easy, easy. It ain't that easy. Maybe all we need is a change of scene, change of scene. Maybe all I want to have is change from me, change from me. It goes on and on and on, and it never seems to stop. It goes on and on and on. What do I need? What do I need? I need to make it happen. To make it happen. Oh man, it ain't that easy, easy. What do I need? I need to make it happen. To make it happen. Oh man, it ain't that easy, easy. It ain't that 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 easy. What do I need? It ain't that easy to make it happen. It ain't that easy. Oh man, it ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. If you wanna find love, then you gotta have faith. The world is on your side. The world is on your side. If you wanna find love, then you got to have faith. The world will be your guide. The world will be your guide. No, I don't care. No one can tear you down. We'll lift you up. It's about here and now. Yeah, you're gonna find love. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC Part 5, I think. I don't know why I said Part 3. That first game felt like it was so much longer than it is, my brain has melted a little bit. Yeah. Jemada coming off a much more clean and controlled game there than our first game of the day. Nvision and Bulldog, their first loss of the day. Honestly, just really, really stellar stuff from them. I think that's the only way I can really round that up.
Yeah, very impressed from Nvision. You know, they have typically stayed on these kind of team fighting compositions where BB Muffin's on, you know, Orianna or Lulu duty. Yeah. You have Spark on a hyper carry, which he was on a hyper carry this game, but it's definitely a very different style of draft. And they honestly executed very well, not just on a different style of draft away from team fighting, but on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, a 1-3-1 split pushing composition.
Well, let's have a little look at your favorite play of the game. Talk a little bit more in depth about some of these fights here. Yeah,
sure. So right here, this is the soul point fight. So a couple of things to note down. We have this bottom lane wave that has been shoved in by a lovely man in the top lane, Akers. So BB Muffin and Akers together now as a pairing, threatening Bulldog, who have forced mid lane priority up here, and they've rotated down through here. And now Bulldog have to worry about potential flank from BB Muffin and Akers onto the back line. And you can see Poker's trying to just keep, well, at this point, only Longstaff from trying to find the hook onto anybody. But Bulldog are kind of in a precarious position because they're, well, all together, and we have multiple angles of attack from Nvision, and they kind of have to make a choice and move in one direction. But we'll see what actually ends up happening is, as time goes on, it's actually Longstaff that just makes the first move. As Bulldog, they're just struggling. They're just really struggling to actually make a decision. They can't really start the dragon reliably, and now it turns into a two-sided attack where we now have 3 members of Nvision on the dragon, whilst the rest of Bulldog have actually kind of retreated a little bit too far back. But it does lower the threat of Akers and BB Muffin making this flank work.
Yeah.
But what actually ends up happening is Longstaff finds this nice engage on Caspar, and Akers and BB Muffin get a bit of a tempered engage. Hachi kind of interrupts it, but you see they eventually find Caspar, and Spark even dives in on the backside. And once Caspar dies, the fight is almost always going to be one-sided. And it's just a very nice setup fight from Nvision, where Bulldog are put in a position where they're almost never going to win this fight.
Yeah, the flank was terrifying. We saw the setup, and we kind of already knew how it was going to go just off the back of that flank. Akers and BB Muffin played a really good game here. I think the whole team were playing well, but they were the first team to properly utilize the 1-3-1 in the league. And, you know, we actually got one of those guys standing by, BB Muffin, ready for an interview. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good.
You feeling good after that win?
Yes, very good. I'm a lot better than yesterday, as you can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing I want to talk about is the Akali. Finally getting to see you kind of off Lulu duty and play something a bit more stylish and a bit more fun to play. Was that something you were pushing for? Is it just Akali's broken? Are we going to see more BB Muffin on like explosive champions? Is my question.
I mean, honestly, after yesterday, I was kind of there like, I don't really want to be on the back foot anymore. And Akali was just really good on that draft. So I was sort of, actually, the thought process behind the draft, on the last pick, I was sort of veering towards, you know, something like the Lulu again, because, you know, it's a little bit strong. But then our coach was like, no, pick Akali here, it's really good, and I trust you to pop off on it. And lo and behold, everyone died.
Oh yeah, I also have to commend you guys as well. You played a really strong 1-3-1 this game, which often you don't see happen in the UKLC. Well, I don't know if it borders on leaking, but is this something you guys actually have in the locker? Because we've primarily only really seen you guys play that.
No, we just wanted to play it, and we played it.
You just wanted to play it and play it. Well, there you go. There's my answer. Thank you very much.
I think my next question is about Bulldog as a team. Was there any like nerves coming into today, knowing that this team were a bit of an upset? No. Okay, nice and easy. I mean, to be fair, you're not even nervous. It looked like you were also ready for that Vayne pickup. I think you had a team comp that was pretty much dealt to deal with a Vayne, that Nautilus and the Camille, things that could just lock it down. Were you ready for the Vayne? Was that like, oh wait, they actually picked that as like their second rotation? Was that a bit of a shock?
I mean, we just know Casper picks some mobile AD carries, and so, I mean, the comp made sense just based on that.
Yeah. Well, honestly, really nice to speak to you, BB Muffin. Really confident, actually. I love that. Congratulations on the win and get yourself back in the race for first, really. So good luck in your games coming up, mate. See you later.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
We still have more League of Legends to come here as well at the UKLC. So coming up after the break, it is going to be Resolve versus Barrage. This is the top of the pack now. Can Barrage bring Resolve down to the level of everyone else, or will Resolve continue to steam ahead? We'll find out after this break. See you in a second.